Mother's Day to my mother, first and foremost. But my wife, happy first Mother's Day. First of many, many. Happy Mother's Day, mamas.
Kobe Bryant, who became a daddy about 3 months ago. You can see that smile on his face, thinking about his wife and baby as we check our Bud Light starting lineups. Here's how it looks from Staples Center this afternoon. San Antonio, Bruce Bowen against Evan George, Robinson and O'Neal, Tim Duncan and Robert Horry. And the backcourts like this: Tony Parker, Derek Fisher, Stephen Jackson, and Kobe Bryant. Let's check in with more with David Aldridge. DX.
Well, guys, just to wrap up on Phil Jackson, the x-rays and the rest of his heart are great. It was just that left anterior descending artery that was giving him problems. They think they've got the problem solved and that he will be fine. Jim Clemens expects to hear from Phil Jackson at halftime of this game. There's no rule against that. That's what Phil did when he missed several games with kidney stones earlier this year. The one saving grace about being at home is that Phil didn't have any ESPN in his hospital room last night. Missed both of those great games.
Oh,
Back
boy.
to you guys.
And I tell you, Tom, the one you and Mike and Michelle had was something else.
Well, if you're watching that game last night, that wasn't easy on the heart watching that one.
Shades of Wilt Chamberlain with the coach calling in the instructions. Which team is going to show up? That question applies to both squads, as we've yet to have a competitive game in this series. I fully expect both teams to be on top of it today.
Lakers have won 13 straight playoff series under Phil Jackson, who is not here today. And we're underway.
Well, the Spurs got to be more aggressive in this game, both offensively and defensively, and that starts with their point guard, Tony Parker.
Here he is. First shot of the ball game's his. Rebound. Kobe Bryant saves it.
Greg Popovich telling us, get the ball to the hoop. Don't settle for perimeter jumpers. Don't understand why you don't run it through Duncan on the opening play and set the tempo.
Robert Horry, who finally woke up on Friday. Lead pass was a little deep for him. He did save it, though, and here's Fisher on the baseline. David Robinson with a rebound.
Well, Horry hasn't been scoring all that well, but he's been defending pretty well, and he's been hitting the glass, getting a lot of rebounds for this team. But still, with Fox being out, he's the guy that needs to step up, has the experience.
Interchangeability of Laker defenders, a Phil Jackson trademark for decades now. Get guys who can switch everything, and somebody like Shaq at the basket who can erase all mistakes.
Jackson against Evan George. He'll take the outside jumper. Lead. That's not what they're looking for either.
I bet you they don't do that next time down.
Has Duncan even touched the ball in the offensive end yet?
He was close to it right there. He was right there. Set a pick on it.
Stephen Jackson's played well.
Robert Horry looking to give it off to Kobe Bryant. 3 on the shot clock. Kobe's got to put one up on the baseline, and he clangs it off the back of the iron. Here comes Tony Parker. Well, he didn't do it that time.
There he goes. You know he's going to touch the ball this time. There would have been a timeout on that tongue lashing.
Double team on Duncan. Parker trying to get it right back to him. Here's Duncan's jump hook.
The same questions facing Tim Duncan faced Kevin Garnett in Game 4, a game that Shaquille O'Neal was just incredibly dominant. But Tim Duncan has got to be so selfish today, totally out of character for him. He has got to go to the hoop, draw the defense to him, and then free everybody up. What a pass by Kobe.
Kobe Bryant off the shoulder of Robert Horry, just took it himself, took it baseline, and drew a foul.
If he would have made that, would he have got an assist and a bucket?
I think.
No, the assist would have gone to Robert Horry.
His shoulder.
Absolutely. That's a play I saw them working on in shoot around this morning.
Tremendous play. And Kobe taking it to the hole strong and just not getting a chance. Well, it's probably a good thing for Bruce Bowen that thing did go in. Or they called the foul because I think he would have got dunked on by Shaq.
And Kobe rattles off the free throw.
A complete turnaround in free throws. It's been a home court advantage at the free throw line. Spurs living there in games 1 and 2. Game 3 Friday night. Kobe Bryant, 19 free throw attempts.
And he got the second. Of course, Phil Jackson made the statement very clear that when Tim Duncan took more free throws than his whole team did in Game 1, and made the statement, and whether or not that had an effect or not, they sure got to the line
Phil
the other night.
complaining about the ref? No way. He's above that.
You're only saying that because he's home watching. Spurs turn it over. Lakers with one free throw to show for the opening minutes, but now they've got a three from Kobe Bryant.
Oh, we wonder when Tim Duncan was going to touch the ball. When's Shaq going to touch the ball down on the low block? The 2 times he touched it had been at the high post where he's going to do nothing with it.
And that is where the Lakers will really miss Phil Jackson. Shaq can only seem to get it on defensive rebounds right now.
Which he did there. Lakers by 2.
Nice rotation defensively by Duncan.
Here's Horry trying to get around Duncan and trying to feed O'Neal low, and it was kicked out of bounds.
How do you fight through a screen set by Shaquille O'Neal? There's been so much talk about Shaq playing at the high post the last couple of games. He's been doing that whenever the other teams put pressure on, and it really helps his game because it makes him move as opposed to just try to barrel through the opposition.
Kobe comes around the pick that time. He's got to put it up. Shot clock expiring, and he knocked it down.
There is no defense for that. He uses horrendous footwork. He's off balance, up against the shot clock. Nice back.
Good feed from Robinson to Parker.
Kobe reminds me so much of the late, great all-star Paul Westphal, who's still living. He used to play basketball, though. But Westphal would take the worst shot attempts, but always with the great flick of the wrist.
Wrist got flicked again. He didn't get it. And Shaq tags down the rebound on the baseline. And now he's going to back in on his own. No basket.
I think he said, you know what? If you guys aren't going to pass it to me, I'll go get it. I'll do it myself. And they do this. We talk about this all the time with this Laker team, that a guy that's 7'1", 340. You can see a shot of Kobe right there who, you know, he's a great player, but sometimes he likes to go off and get going, and 2 fouls on David Robinson. But every other time down the court, come on. You got to get the ball down to Shaq in the low post and work off him. Especially with Kevin Willis guarding him.
They throw it into him. He hands it back to Devin George. Nice reverse layup. He didn't finish, and Duncan with a rebound.
Showing once again Duncan why he is a regular on first-team All-NBA defense.
6 straight years. Parker hits the outside jumper. And that ties it at 6.
But you've already got David Robinson in foul trouble. You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest scorer in the game's history, sitting right here. Laker tradition has always been pounded inside. Get the other team's front line in serious foul trouble. The game is yours over time.
Jack gets it way out high and gives it right back to Fisher. Bowen on Kobe Bryant. And strips it. Coming down court. The foul's going to be on Kobe.
Well, the offense the last 3 times down the court has just been swing it, reverse it. 4 seconds left. Let Kobe try to jack up a shot. And Bruce Bowen does a nice job of stripping Kobe. But that's the 3rd time, and he's made 2 of them, which he can do. But you don't want to rely on stuff like that.
Greg Popovich would love it if Kobe kept taking all those shots.
Here's Duncan facing the basket for the first time. Horry trying to stay with him. He goes right around him.
What footwork. He has the moves, the theory, the strategy of a Michael Jordan, of a Kobe Bryant in a 7-footer's body. Shaq to the hoop.
Against Kevin Willis. And fouled by Bowen on the way up.
See, Bowen should not be reaching in here. These fouls should go against Kevin Willis, but with Tim Duncan just schooling one of the great defensive players of this era, Robert Horry. Just too good, that lead foot. Kevin Willis, who is an outstanding player, the oldest player in the league now that John Stockton has retired, he can use those 6 fouls. Bowen cannot waste them on Shaq. He needs them for Kobe.
I got to say, I've heard you say Robert Horry, one of the great defenders of this era. He's not even in the top 3 in this game. Okay. Duncan's a better defender, Bowen's a better defender, and Kobe's a better defender.
Bruce Bowen is not a better defender than Robert Horry.
Oh, yes, he is. Better defender than Robert Horry.
No.
Shaq misses the second, and Devin George almost came up with a loose ball. Bowen, 2nd team all-defensive NBA performer again this year, as he was a year ago. Here he is on the offensive end, giving it into Tim Duncan.
What a pass.
Trying to hook it back to Bowen now. Out of bounds to the Lakers.
So who would you rather have on your team, Bowen or Robert Horry? And why?
I would rather have Robert Horry.
Thank you.
Because he's a more complete player. If I needed one guy to shut another guy down, I would rather have Bruce Bowen.
Oh, ouch.
Man, that's twice.
He was out at second.
Bruce Bowen has grown incredibly this year, but to put him in the same category as Robert Ory, unconscionable.
Just a defender. How about Shaq? How about Shaq?
Here's Ory.
3 seconds.
3-second call.
Kevin Willis working so hard at denying Shaq. Now, talking to the Spurs before the game about how they were going to do it defensively against Shaq, they always talk about changing it up. Don't give Shaq that look. Kevin Willis is as strong a man as there is in basketball, and Shaq makes him look like Michelle Tafoya.
Saying he looks pretty?
There's the early shooting. Parker, this time off the front of the iron, but Willis keeps it alive.
This is the guy,
Nice.
Stephen Jackson.
Duncan leaves it for Willis. Nice feed.
Oh, the two-pass combination.
And the pressing defense by San Antonio, trying to take Shaq away from the basket.
And he goes strong on the baseline, trying to leave it for Robert Ory, and turns it over.
Duncan's hands once again, the help defense, remarkable.
Jackson will try the outside jumper again, and he got the three.
Finally, Stephen Jackson, who has struggled mightily as the games have gotten ever more mental.
11-1 run by the Spurs, and they lead by 6. Kobe Bryant off the glass.
At what point does Jack Nicholson take over?
He tried to the other night.
He did.
Jackson walked with it. Third Spurs turnover. There's Jack in his regular seat. Likes what his team has done, but they trail by 4.
Lane for like, let's say 1,002, catches the ball, fakes back and forth for 2 or 3 more seconds, then pumps fakes. Is there 3 seconds in the game or not?
Yes, there is. I just happen to think that your count may be a slight quicker than our count.
There's no doubt that it is.
Just a slight.
But sometimes those kind of things pay off. This is the next trip down court for the Lakers. Shaquille O'Neal working against Kevin Willis. And there was the whistle in the 3-second call against the Lakers.
Kevin Willis's ability to stay low, to stay flex, and try to have any sort of hope in terms of leverage against the biggest, strongest, and most difficult player in the history of basketball, that was impressive.
Here he is trying to keep Shaq from backing in again. Up, under, and a foul. Tim Duncan.
And Kevin Willis is standing there saying, well, look, if I stand in front of a player who runs into me, hits me, bumps me, pushes me, takes another step, and then knocks me off again, and then my teammate gets called for a foul, what's going on here?
Neal at the free throw line. That's Shaq's second point.
It's hard to see this being a defensive foul, and certainly isn't on Kevin Willis, but when the second man is stepping in and grabbing the arms.
Shaq shooting about 61% in the playoffs, and the free throw line is 3 for 4. Log on to NBA.com for the exclusive 2003 playoff section, featuring live post-game press conferences, photo galleries, video highlights, and a lot more. Love it live on NBA.com. Duncan brings it out. Jackson now working the lane, trying to leave it for Willis.
You got to convert those if you're San Antonio. I mean, this is such a monster game. Michelle Tafoya was talking about you got to have that foot in the throat mentality if you're San Antonio. Don't come out and rely on the home court.
There's Kobe Bryant's jumper. When he gets that high and gets that good a look, pretty tough to stop.
Well, he just stops on a dime. I mean, he gets going and gets you going one way. By the time he's going up, you can't stop and get up to defend the shot.
The defensive strategy against Kobe is to force him to the baseline and hope that he's not going to make every shot.
Tony Parker was wide open for a 3 and missed it.
Stephen Jackson, he might be out of his league in a game like this, in a series like this.
Good hustle by Ory. Fisher got the pass out to midcourt for him. And now Fisher trying the long jumper.
Great closeout. Good hustle. Hand in his face.
Willis should go right at Shaq here.
They'll go over him instead.
Well, that's one thing he can do. I mean, he's going to try to beat Shaq up the court, get easy layups, and he can also move. Shaq's not going to move with him.
Oh. And a quick foul called. Wow. Kevin Willis with the high knee lift. Take a look around. About 19,000 at Staples Center. With 3:58 remaining in the first quarter, we're tied at 13. It was a 6-point lead for San Antonio. The Lakers have run off 6 straight to even it.
Well, fans don't have that sense of desperation, that sense of urgency today that they had Friday night.
Oh, this is L.A. Do they ever have that sense of desperation here?
Friday night, that was magic in here.
And Shaq continues to be out at the free throw line.
So both centers have 2 fouls for San Antonio. Now Malik Rose comes in, and Tim Duncan has 1 foul. So things piling up against San Antonio early on.
Shaquille O'Neal hits both free throws. Shaq fouled out of the first game of this series, but he puts L.A. back in front now by 2.
Well, if it keeps going like this, they keep picking up fouls. By the third quarter, Steve Kerr will be guarding Shaquille O'Neal.
Duncan the give to Parker.
Beautiful passing. Don't know why they don't cut harder, San Antonio. In game 1, they just were loping through the lane there. Got a blast to the hoop. Change of pace, change of direction. Devin George very quiet early.
Horry got a pick and roll and got it back from Shaq with 3 on the shot clock. Oh, didn't get it. Shaq though the rebound. Another. That time it's going down. O'Neal walks all the way out to midcourt after putting this one down with some emphasis.
Such quickness, so light on his feet. The first one to the ball as the Lakers have been since their return to Los Angeles. Throw it down, big man. Throw it down. I'm going to tell you how it's going to be.
I always enjoy trips when you get a bucket and 4 offensive rebounds. The stat-stuffing trip.
He did miss the free throw, so the opportunity for the 3-point play is gone, but he puts the Lakers again in front by 2.
But the competitive response from San Antonio has to come through Duncan. Ginobili contributing might help as well.
And Ginobili fouled on his spin move to the baseline by Devin George. The Lakers in front of their home court by 2. You're watching the NBA on ABC Sports Championship Television. Hollywood's hottest couple, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. Courtside here for the Lakers, who are in front of the Spurs, 17-15, 2:57 in the first quarter.
Certainly nothing hot about the Los Angeles Lakers offense. Shaq and Kobe, the only ones who were playing. As a team, they're shooting 29%. The rest of the guys have yet to score. Shaq also has 8 rebounds, 6 of them on the offensive end, all on the same possession.
Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, in the huddle, Greg Popovich telling his team on defense, I can't have you 3 perimeter guys standing around taking pictures. He said, get in the lane, get in the circle, help rebounding. These front court guys have their hands full with that big guy, obviously referring to Shaq, Brad.
There's no doubt about that, and Ginobili goes right at it.
That was picture perfect game 1 and 2 right there. That's what he did. They didn't allow him to do that last game, but that is his game, being athletic and getting to the hole.
Ginobili averaging over 13 points a game in the playoffs.
Shaq is beautifully faking the ball with passing to get into his offense.
A little too strong off the glass. Tony Parker the rebound. Western Conference semifinal game 4. Lakers trying to even it up at home after being down 2-0 in this series.
I think the Lakers have to win this game if they're going to win this series.
Ooh, Shaq jumped in there to get that rebound. That's his 9th.
So you're saying going down 3-1 would not be a good idea?
No, not a good idea.
No.
The percentages in the history of the NBA are not very good if you're down 3-1, especially when you started down at a 2-0 hole.
They're good enough to do it.
But I'm not saying they couldn't set the historical perspective on it. In fact, the Lakers in their history are one of the teams to have done it. In '69, they came back against San Francisco. You could hear that one rip the net. Kobe Bryant has 11 points. Shaq gets a breather. Mark Madsen comes in for the Lakers.
The parade to the free throw line continues. Los Angeles has taken 10 free throws. This will be the 11th. The Spurs have yet to get to the free throw line.
A dozen for Kobe Bryant. The lead, again, the Lakers by 2.
And it might help the Spurs' cause if they went to the hoop.
Here's Tim Duncan in the low block.
Especially now that Shaq's on the bench.
Well, they're not doubling him until he dribbles. As soon as he puts the ball on the floor, then they're coming.
He didn't get the shot. He says he was hip-checked in the lane, and it should have been a foul, and he's still letting the officials know it. Oh, man.
Offensive foul.
Derek Fisher. He's still on the deck. Derek's looking at the officials. What am I supposed to do?
He is so tough, Derek Fisher.
Yow.
Oh, boy.
I must have been screened out.
It was right in front of you. It was about 6 feet from us.
Let me clean my glasses.
San Antonio with a chance to tie. A minute and a half remaining in the quarter. Ginobili goes right back into Duncan. Spinning on the baseline, and he ties it at 19.
Would you say that he has maybe the most low post moves since Kevin McHale?
Well, Hakeem Olajuwon's in that crowd, too.
True.
We have no idea what kind of low post moves Yao Ming has.
Duncan with a rebound as well.
Duncan is so smooth.
So versatile.
Yeah.
Complete. He takes what the defense gives him, which is theoretically what you want to do and what you teach young players. But at some point, you have to just punish him, and you have to say, you know what, I'm going to get what I want. That's what Jordan did. That's what Shaq does. That's what Kobe does.
Still, only 4 field goal attempts, and on that kind of pace, it's kind of like one of those earlier games when he only shoots 12 times. He's got to shoot more than that, doesn't he?
I agree.
Well, there's the 5th attempt.
Are you coaching instead of Phil Jackson and Jack Nicholson?
Just watching. That puts San Antonio back in front. Tim's got a chance to make it a 3-point play. Nice pass from Ginobili.
The great players are the ones that are the best at the decision making. They have all the skills, but figuring out which one to use. And in Tim Duncan, you've got the first player since Michael Jordan to win back-to-back MVP awards. One of just a handful of guys who have done that.
And it's some serious company, too.
It's all the game's greatest players.
But one thing Tim does not do that well is shoot free throws, and he just showed it there again. Chance for a 3-point play went by the boards. It's still the Spurs by 2.
Hey, here comes Bill.
And Bill gets his hands on the ball for the second time.
As great as Tim Duncan is, I don't think we've even scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Same with Kobe Bryant. Same with Tracy, Kevin Garnett. The stars in this game today are just out of this world.
No fouls to give either way here as Claxton with a lot of dribbling finally gets it down to Duncan with 10 on the shot clock. Working against Madsen. Got the shot and a foul. Just some more of that surface being scratched.
Duncan, like Garnett in the previous series for Minnesota against the Lakers, continues to play back to the basket against Mark Madsen. When the guy crowds you that much, even use a drop step or an inside pivot to get him off you and give yourself some room. Fortunately, Duncan's jump hook is as great as anybody's in the game today, along with Chris Webber and Shaquille O'Neal.
Gives the Spurs a little more room now. They lead by 5. That's the biggest advantage by either team in the quarter, which has 20 seconds remaining. Brian Shaw on a runner.
The runner, the appropriate terminology.
Get another one of those. You might want to run right out the hallway.
Final 10 seconds. San Antonio's going to lead here at the end of the first quarter on the road. Trying to go up 3-1. Claxton against Gennaro Pargo. And he didn't get his shot away at all.
Inexcusable. What is he thinking? Is he thinking at all?
Shaq on the bench, and with that, Tim Duncan scored 7 of the last 9. And there's 2 of those guys having a good time. Part of the Love It Live NBA Tour, the Legends Tour. We had Kareem on with us the other night, the ball game. That was fun having him alongside us.
It has been a fantastic tour, the Love It Live Tour 2, documented daily on NBA.com.
underway in the second quarter. Spurs closed out the first quarter with a 9-2 run.
Fortunately, Shaq's back in. Phil Jackson must have called.
Claxton, the outside jumper, way off the mark, and Shaquille immediately back in the rebound column as well.
It's not as if San Antonio's playing that well. Their perimeter guys aren't giving them anything, but nobody else for the Lakers other than Shaq and Kobe have even scored. What is going on here?
Kobe has 12, Shaq has 7.
Whoa, just off the mark.
It's a fast break starter right there.
Jackson inside to Duncan.
How hard a cut's going to be for the Spurs perimeter players.
And Duncan throws it up over Madsen, drew a foul. Is that the first time we've seen Tim Duncan touch it on the right block?
Yeah,
He's not near as effective.
Yeah, he's mostly a left block guy. And I mean, this guy is amazing. Not only his basketball skills, what he can do, but Steve Kerr told me a story in training camp. They're going to training camp, and all the guys were supposed to stay at the hotel. Danny Ferry and Steve Kerr figured because they were veterans, they'd go stay at home. So they stay at home and show up the next day, and you get all the rookie free agents that are getting out of the van. Who else gets out of the van? Reigning MVP Tim Duncan. They go, Tim, what are you doing? And Tim said, oh, we could have stayed at home? I mean, this is your MVP. They could do whatever he wants to do, and he ends up staying in the hotel with the rookie and the free agents. I mean, just a unassuming, selfless team guy who happens to be a superstar.
He is the classic teammate. Never ask anything from anyone else other than what he can do to help them.
The Lakers had had a bad drought and missed 9 of their last 10 shots before that one by Kobe Bryant goes in. They went over 4 minutes without a field goal. Here's Duncan again with Shaq on him this time.
That is what the Spurs need more than anything else. To have Shaq guard Tim Duncan and Duncan say, I'm going to the hoop. Yeah. I'm going to get the big man moving. I'm going to change my direction. The big man will not be able to recover. A lot of ball early.
Well, it's
a lot of ball.
He used strength against Madsen and then quickness against Shaq. It just shows you what he's capable of. He's not a one-dimensional player.
But he doesn't use his strength against Madsen. Madsen, I think, has had more success than anyone against Duncan in this series. Duncan scored the last 11 Spur points, so finally they've woken up the Spurs to see.
Oh, still the Shaq and Kobe show for the Lakers, and that's it. Kobe Bryant now off balance.
That's a shot that Greg Popovich will love.
We talked about it, guys, at the top of the game, that the help came from the Lakers on Friday night, and absolutely zero help tonight. Meanwhile, Jackson, who missed his first jumper badly, has hit a couple of threes now.
Biggest lead of the day, and no wonder the doctors ordered Phil Jackson to stay home.
O'Neal wanting to give it back to Kobe. And a foul on Ginobili.
Well, that's a tough foul to take right there. Right here, just a nice drawn pitch. Claxton sucking in Brian Shaw, an easy pitch, and those are the type of threes that you like the team to take on the penetration or in transition.
The greatest challenge in this series for Tim Duncan is Steven Jackson, to make him a really good player at this level. The rest of the guys are coming. He's the one who's lagging Jackson.
Madsen, 4 on the shot clock. He's got to put the hook up. And trying to save it was Tim Duncan, and he couldn't, so it's out of bounds to L.A.
Mark Madsen, the genius from Stanford, knowing they're up against the shot clock, figured the surest way to get a reset was to clank it off the iron and eventually off Duncan's hand.
He planned all of that.
So easy to see.
Lakers are shooting 25% from the floor here in the first half.
They go shoot a jump hook here.
They're
20
plummeting.
seconds into the shot clock.
Offensive foul. Pargo out in front. Lakers are not delivering today. And that is why they pay Phil Jackson what they do. He is underpaid.
Duncan's getting some help today, while the Lakers aren't giving Shaquille and Kobe Bryant any.
But the Spurs are phenomenal at coming back from losses. The numbers are staggering. What a pass.
That was nice. That was... I guess he was tired of being stuck on 3 turnovers. It always helps a no-look pass. It means you're not looking, not your teammate. Your teammate's always supposed to be looking.
Kobe Bryant, great move to get open, but he missed the shot. Speedy Claxton speeding down court.
Has Shaq touched the ball in the low post since he re-entered the game?
I don't think so. David Robinson does here for San Antonio.
Take him if you're Malik Rose.
Rose against Madsen. Across the lane. Madsen, nice defense. Almost forced the turnover. Ginobili now goes wide open on the baseline, and he knocked down a three.
What does he think? He plays for Dallas?
The lead is 13.
Always be careful of huge leads on the road early.
O'Neal in the lane. Ginobili, who just hit the three, gets the rebound.
Well, this one might get huger,
but you have to
start scoring the basketball.
The problem is you have to fight the crowd off for so long.
Rose. Robinson tried to follow. Claxton comes up with a rebound. Ginobili says, I did it once. Not that time.
Shaq is irate. He is barking at his teammates, saying, will somebody else get a rebound out here? Tired of doing this all by myself.
He said it in a lot less words, but that's what he said. Now he wants it offensively and gets it.
And David Robinson's got 2 fouls.
All the way along the lane. He goes down, but he got the shot.
Attack if you're San Antonio. The big man is down and behind the play. David Robinson's not even looking at the ball.
Oh, they had him too.
And by the time Robinson catches it, he turns it over with an offensive foul. And that's number 3.
And the former MVP not having his finest hour. Shaquille O'Neal just too strong, too good, too quick, too mobile. The extension.
And on the other end, it was David Robinson, Shaq playing defense. The Admirals got 3, and the Lakers are back to within 11.
The defensive theory for the San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich, make them convert very difficult shots. The Laker offense is atrocious right now. This is back in the days of Jerry West and Elgin Baylor when they were the only 2 guys playing. Nobody has scored other than Shaq and Kobe. Jack Nicholson stroking his chin saying, when is my time? When is my time to take this game over?
Kobe Bryant with a turnaround jumper. And he's missed his last 3 now. It's out of bounds to San Antonio as we check in with David.
Guys, during the timeout, obviously Jim Clemens talking to the other 3 guys. You know, that's the old bugaboo again with the Lakers. You got to move. You got to cut off of Shaq and Kobe, get some movement, get some hard cuts going to the basket, and somebody else can pick up the slack.
One of the great skills of Phil Jackson is the way he gets the most out of role players and keeps them extremely happy and content in the shadows of their immense stars.
Jackson steps inside the 3-point line and he hits it. So after a couple of horrible jump shots, he hits 2 threes, and now that 2-pointer, and it's 36-23.
Oh, you get Duncan dominating down on the low block, getting to the free throw line, scoring on the block. Now you have to come over and help. Your defense is scrambling. Guys get open looks.
O'Neal with a hook off the glass.
Kevin Willis has made a huge impact on this game. The numbers aren't there, but just the confidence he's given his team, the way he's confronting Shaq.
Here he is against Shaq. He'll bring it back. They'll move it around the perimeter. 6.5 to go in the half. Duncan with 5 on the shot clock. Working against Ori. The one-hander.
What a lead arm push-off. Shades of Oscar, Jerry West, Magic, Jordan, Kobe.
Yeah, that was easy.
Tim Duncan has 17 points. He's 6 out of 7 from the floor. Shaquille going strong, and the foul. It'll be on Jackson, I think, or is it Willis?
They're calling that on Kevin Willis there.
That you can do. Absolutely. Look at this right here.
It's beautiful.
The dribble penetration, just a little separate. You gotta get yourself separated, don't you?
There.
You gotta get yourself separated.
We got Kareem sitting right behind us here. The master.
Shaquille O'Neal looking for his 10th point already, 10 rebounds. He's done a nice job from the free throw line so far today. This one rattles out. If Game 6 is necessary, we'll be right back here in L.A. Thursday night for the Spurs and the Lakers. If not, we'll head to Sacramento if there's a Game 6 between the Mavs and the Kings. That's Thursday night, live 8 Eastern, right here on ABC Sports Championship Television and home of the NBA Finals.
It's getting serious now.
It is getting serious.
Well, when's the last time somebody for the Lakers other than Shaq or Kobe have taken a shot? And that's the question. And right now, you know they don't feel comfortable shooting the ball, but they're going to have to step up before this game's over. And you see right there, that's it. That is 14-9. If you can add, if you can't, I'll add for you. That's 23. The rest of the guys,
That's not called stepping up. That's called waking up.
And Kobe Bryant trying to knock it away from behind. And ends up with a foul.
The Lakers miss Phil Jackson. I thought it would be Tuesday's game 5, but it's today.
There's the foul with 5:52 in the half. Still, Kobe and Shaq 23, Spurs 38. The support for Tim Duncan continues for San Antonio.
The Lakers are playing atrocious. Every single time we go to timeout, their field goal percentage plummets. That ball hit the rim. They got to reset
it. Well, it's down to 24% right now, the field goal percentage for the Lakers. 4% and only 23 points. Not a good combo there. You're going to see before Shaq got a hand in the front of the iron.
Don't you just love the home court thing?
you know, when you're shooting so bad, Brad, you stink. I'd like to give credit for everything. So 24.1.
Okay.
Give credit for
That's true. Let's see if it improves right here. Yep. Oh, it did.
You had to hesitate.
I had to hesitate. Fisher, finally. Somebody other than Shaq and Kobe. It took down to 5.5 minutes remaining in the quarter.
I bet that's an NBA record.
Length of time with nobody except your two-star scorer in the first half of a playoff game probably is. Parker over to Bowen. He'll take the three. And he got it. Boy, there's the answer for Fisher. Bruce Bowen's first basket.
The competitive response that you're looking for if you have to try to unseat the three-time champions. Who's going to answer back and put the crowd back in their seat?
And he did. It's gotten quiet in here. Now Kobe Bryant offensively. Through the lane.
Offensive foul. Jack Neese waves it off. Robert Horry clearing the lane for Kobe Bryant.
And Robert's saying, Jack, Jack, Jack. It ain't going to do Jack.
Please.
Well, watch right here. I think Bruce Bowen sold this one, too.
No, Horry grabbed him. Horry grabbed him.
And
Robert Horry grabbed him right there.
I think he sold it. I think he sold a little bit of it.
And when he was saying Jack, he was asking Jack Neese, not Jack Nicholson. 41-26. It's back in the Spurs' hands. And that's 3 fouls on Horry.
Well, it's not like the Spurs are going to get rattled playing the Lakers. This team has poise. They're not going to just fall apart when the Lakers go on a little run.
And remember, they're the last team to win an NBA title other than the Lakers.
Hey, it's a Medvedenko sighting.
Got to move without the ball if you're playing with Duncan.
Parker up over Shaq, missed the shot.
Now right here, establish Shaq. Run down the middle of the lane, turn in, throw one down, and get this crowd fired up.
Here he is. And he dishes it underneath to Medvedenko. And whistle.
A late whistle on Tim Duncan here. That's 2 on Duncan. Popovich up against it.
Medvedenko does a nice job cutting. Nice little pass underneath Duncan's arm, and yep, fall through, got him.
So Medvedenko, who didn't score in the last game, hasn't played that much. Probably his biggest night of the year was opening night against Portland. He had 15 points and 9 rebounds, and he steps to the line.
The problem if you take Duncan out, thinking you're going to save him and not pick up his 3rd foul, is that you lose all your momentum, because he is playing so brilliantly on the offensive end, and Duncan just has to play more concession defense and not try to do anything that's on the edge on the defensive end.
So Medvedenko with the free throw. Now he and Fisher with 4 points. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal have the rest, and the 3-time defending champion Lakers in a 14-point hole here with 4 minutes and change remaining in the first half on their home floor at Staples Center, trying to even this best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal at 2 games apiece. On the baseline, and it goes in for Jackson.
I think you owe that man an apology.
I do.
You
ever since I called him out, the guy has been flawless. Stephen Jackson, I apologize to you and your entire family, particularly your mother, on Mother's Day.
He just gave his team a 16-point lead now.
Now let's see you finish it off, Stephen Jackson. Offensive foul again, and Kobe Bryant standing over the top of Tony Parker, staring down.
Well, it looks
Kobe
like the
Bryant
Lakers
picks up his third foul.
Sorry, Brad. As I say, it looks like the Lakers are the ones that have kind of lost their poise a little bit. A couple offensive fouls, not taking very good shots. And the Spurs are playing like they're the defending champions.
So Ori and Kobe both with 3 fouls now, and Kobe Bryant will have to sit down. 3:34. Brian Shaw comes in for the Lakers.
The Lakers are playing right now like they used to play before Phil Jackson was hired as coach.
This is on Duncan, and he's got 3. So we got some foul trouble in some star places.
Well, I would say you want to keep Duncan in. You want to finish out this half strong, but with 3 fouls, you got to get Tim Duncan out.
And we've got a timeout. Tim Duncan with 3. Ori's got 3, and so does Kobe Bryant for the Lakers. This is ABC Sports, the new home of the NBA Finals. Supporting cast today, Tim Duncan's getting help from his teammates. 1 field goal from the Lakers other than Shaq and Kobe, and that was Derek Fisher's 3.
Well, for the Lakers, you can say non-supporting cast.
Right.
They have done nothing. And you look at Ori's a guy I still think. Robinson Duncan with 3 fouls. Ori Bryant with 3 fouls. I look at Robert Ori, and I see 2 field goal attempts. That is it. When he gets back in the game in the second half, he's not even looking at the rim. He's got to force himself to be more aggressive.
Can the Spurs keep it together with Duncan on the bench?
Fisher goes all the way and goes through Willis.
What a beautiful clear-out screen by Shaq. Fouls once again, a major story.
And Willis has 3 now.
Down the lane, nobody moving their feet, everybody just reaching. But that's not a foul. Who did he touch?
For Derek Fisher, it's a free throw, nonetheless. And so Fisher has 6 points in this quarter. And it's 43-30, a little over 3 minutes in the half. Parker blocked by O'Neal. Here come the Lakers, and the big man running the court with Fisher.
They can't get him the ball against Ginobili.
Shaw for 3.
Popovich wants to call a timeout. He looked over to his assistant coach. They don't have enough left. This crowd is back into it.
The Lakers back to within 10. Now the chance of defense with 2:35 in the quarter. Wide open is Jackson. He's hit 2 threes today. That one's off the mark. Shaw the rebound. Here come the Lakers, looking to make it single digits. Trying to feed Shaq. And out of bounds to San Antonio.
Lakers are on a 6-0 run since Duncan went to the bench. Jim Clemens trying to keep it together. He's in just the absolute most unenviable position in the world, Jim Clemens.
All the Spurs big guys in foul trouble here before halftime. Ginobili. And Ginobili with 7 points off the Spurs bench.
That guy's something. I mean, he's played in Argentina, played over in Italy. I mean, he's played. But to come in your first year and be doing this in the playoffs against the Lakers, this guy's fearless.
Won a silver at the World Championships, and he's got ice water in his veins for a young guy, that's for sure.
What footwork by Shaq.
Didn't get it, though, and here comes San Antonio. Lakers had a chance to get it down to single digits. Ginobili again. This time, the rebound will be Medvedenko. 1:35 in the half. 45-33. Lakers down 12. Shaq with a grab, and the foul is going to be on Rose.
I'm only Rose saying, what is going on here? I'm standing here, and I'm being overwhelmed by someone who just keeps pushing me back underneath the basket.
Well, he is literally impossible at this point. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if you're Malik Rose?
I always thought that in basketball that if you got to the spot first, that spot belonged to you.
It does, unless Shaq takes it away from you.
Shaq is only 2 for 10. In fact, the Lakers right now have as many turnovers as they have field goals, 10 each.
Well, with Duncan sitting out, it's important for the Spurs not to let the Lakers get back to within 5, 6, 7 points. You don't want them feeling good about themselves heading into the locker room. You want them shaking their heads.
O'Neal trying to get it to the basket where he knew that free throw was coming off. Couldn't get his own miss.
with this group of Spurs right now. It's got to be quickness. It's got to be attack, penetration, and dish.
Ginobili got a rebound laying on the floor.
Bring it back out. Run the clock. Reset. Get your balance.
Parker up high. Didn't get it. Kevin George with a rebound.
Spurs can't look at the refs here.
Trying to get it to O'Neal. Ginobili gets in the way of the pass. Shaw lays it up there. Shaq got it back.
His second jump is phenomenal. He's up in the air, he lands, and he just bounces right back up. And then once again, a defender with good position. Getting whistled.
That's been about their best offense. Throw it up, let Shaq get it.
How many offensive rebounds for
7.
Shaq?
This is the first time it's been a single-digit ball game, guys, in a long time.
So conservative, the inability of the Spurs to maintain that offensive attack once Duncan went to the bench. Granted, he is the MVP, but somebody else. And Ginobili is playing out of his mind right now. Parker needs to create in the open court. Get somebody a wide open shot.
O'Neal's three-point plays made it an 8-point ball game. 45-37. Final 45 of the quarter.
And how about a little pick and roll with Malik Rose?
There it was, but Parker.
Lakers up off the bench screaming, why isn't it a traveling violation when Tony Parker skids across the floor? That floor seems to be very slippery today.
You can't penalize somebody for a slippery floor, can you? Guess you can penalize them for picking their feet up, though.
Changing your pivot. One thing.
Parker at the free throw line.
If you're going to have a chance to beat the Lakers, one of the great teams in the history of basketball, you have got to play flawless. Duncan did that. It has not carried over since he sat down.
On the floor for the Lakers, Fisher, Shaw, Medvedenko, Kareem Rush, the rookie, and Shaquille O'Neal. Final 30 seconds of the half. Rose trying to stay on Shaquille's hip.
Oh, Owen. Your eyes on the ball.
Shaw out to Medvedenko on the baseline. O'Neal another rebound. Dishes back to him. Got it!
What a passer. What a rebounder. Shaquille O'Neal dominating, getting this crowd fired up and back into it.
7-point game. Parker's blocked by O'Neal. Out of bounds with 3.4. That one went back quicker than it went up.
I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. Shaquille O'Neal inspired the presence of Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to season the championship run on the line. Lakers are back, as is Tim Duncan.
Duncan with 3 fouls, but they want him in there with 3.4 seconds for offense. They get it to him. He pushes it up. Missed the shot. And Derek Fisher got an elbow or something in the ear and is right in front of us down on the floor. He was one of the guys trying to get to that loose ball with Duncan, the man that the inbound pass was intended for.
Ooh, this guy's tough.
His teammates all around him, and he's up, and he'll head to the locker room with his troops down by 7. And again, they brought Duncan back in for the inbounds play, and you see Fisher trying to help out Medvedenko, and Duncan. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, elbow to the nose.
Nose, ear, head, pretty much everywhere. And he is in some pain heading to the locker room. Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Been a clinic as Shaq has drained jumpers and got to the free throw line. The footwork, the stepping around, the delivery once he outworks everybody on the offensive end and throwing it down one more time. 24 minutes left in the Lakers season. If they don't come back and win this game, Shaq's doing it on the defensive end. He's laying off passes. The rest of the team has not come through. Kobe was very, very good early. Then Shaq took over late, but it was the first basket by any member of the Lakers, not Shaq or Kobe, came at the 5:30 mark of the second quarter, and that was Derek Fisher. I'd come to Shaq here and just get the entire Spurs squad out of the game.
Fisher, who spent the end of the second quarter on the deck, hits it to start the third and missed the shot.
Well, it's just surprising you get your 2 big guys with 3 fouls. You got to see if Shaq can get them up with 4 fouls. Changes the whole complexion of the game.
Shaq running the court, trying to get down in front of Tim Duncan, and gets the in pass and has it right back out to Devin George for 3. That'll help the Lakers' cause. It cuts the Spurs lead down to 4.
Spurs basically wasted that first half with the collapse. Who's going to come alive offensively if they're going to dethrone the world champion Lakers?
Jackson hasn't been shy today as a scorer, and he's got a dozen after that jumper on the baseline.
Spurs need a lot more from David Robinson.
And a foul on Tony Parker's. We check in with Michelle.
Oh, Greg Popovich told me he's happy with the way his team's competing. He said it's likened it to games 1 and 2, wants them to respond in the second half. When I asked him about the foul trouble, guys, he said, you'll have to ask somebody else about that. I didn't hand those fouls out.
Okay. That's the smooth way around it. That says it in itself. Fisher. In and out on the baseline jumper, and Duncan's got the rebound.
You notice the way he keeps that rebound above his head, too. No little guys going to come in there and swipe at it.
Eight on the shot clock. Jackson out on top, guarded by Devin George, and he's going to try the 3 out of the 2, and Horry with a rebound.
Well, you keep Parker on that. Parker, Bowen, Jackson, Ginobili, those are going to be the guys that have to play in the second half for the Spurs.
Fisher around a pick. He'll take the jumper and got it.
Lakers are just moving so completely different than they were early in this game. Shaq kept them close enough. Right now, the Lakers clearly have the momentum.
San Antonio's 16-point lead in the second quarter is down to 4. Parker from the outside, and he got it.
Sacramento had that great 16-point lead last night. That turned out to be worthless.
They had a great 9-point lead with about 5 minutes to go. That didn't turn out to do well either.
Pressure in the backcourt, bringing Shaq out above the 3-point line. Great defensive strategy, Popovich.
Kobe Bryant working against Bowen. Gets it back from Shaquille. Rimmed out the jumper. Shaq kept it alive by slotting it over to Devin George.
What an offensive rebound here, Shaq. His sense of knowing where that ball's going, just remarkable.
Remember Robinson with 3 fouls. O'Neal works on the turn off the glass, and Duncan clears the glass again.
That jump hook is magnificent. He can make that so consistently, even from that range.
That's a little bit out of his range.
I would turn him the other way almost. I mean, I would turn him the other way every single time, if you could.
Nice ball movement by the Spurs to get the open 3 by Parker.
Maybe that will give guys like Bowen and Jackson and Ginobili the confidence that, hey, we can do this too.
So right back to a 9-point advantage.
Oh, just missed Robert Horry over the top with the dump down.
Kobe Bryant has yet to score in the second half. 14 in the first half from him. Horry blocked by Robinson.
In transition, got to convert here on a play like that.
Parker was open again momentarily. Fisher did a nice job to get back on it.
Well, let's see when they come with a double team, and if they do, Tony Parker will be open for a jump shot. No double
and
team.
Horry with a foul. That's 4 on Horry. Let's check in with David Aldridge. D.A.
Guys, Phil Jackson did call the locker room at halftime, talk to the assistant coaches on the speakerphone. They all agree about the same thing. The Lakers have got to get some movement in their offense. They are not moving at all. I think Kobe Bryant is doing a little bit too much dribbling one-on-one. They have got to get some movement off of that action. And the conversation was brief, fellas.
Kobe dribbled too much? No way.
Tim Duncan only had 1 field goal in the second quarter, but his 18 points leads everyone right now.
I don't know why they don't give it to Shaq. Everybody's in foul trouble up front for San Antonio.
Shaq got the rebound.
You get Robinson or Duncan with 4 fouls at this point of the game, that changes everything.
He faces Robinson here on the elbow and now sets a pick for Fisher. Back to Shaq. Over Duncan. Crashing the glass was Kobe Bryant. Fisher for three. With Parker in his face.
I don't know about that one.
And now Parker scoots down court.
Uncharacteristic of Derek Fisher. Usually he's the real patient one.
His three-point shooting in the playoffs has been great. Not necessarily today, though.
You got to come to the ball when your teammate is in trouble and driving the ball out of bounds, and Tony Parker is carelessly thinking about trying to create something over in a deep corner by himself. You got to break the play and come and rescue him.
Lakers only 2 out of 9 from the floor so far in this half.
And I like the token pressure the Spurs are putting on the Lakers right now. Not really going to turn you over, not high intensity, but get you into it defensively and makes them use 7 or 8 seconds before they can get into their offense.
George's three, no good.
And then you throw up something like that with 5 seconds left in the shot clock.
Duncan, tough catch on the lob from Jackson. Goes baseline hook with it. And Shaq's got another rebound.
Give him a pass you can work with, please.
I think he tried.
Kobe Bryant.
Offensive foul.
Now he has 4 fouls. Horry and Bryant, 4 fouls each.
The delayed break here, and Kobe Bryant just going right in. David Robinson standing his ground.
So the Lakers with some pretty serious foul trouble.
Dangerous part of the game, too.
But the problem that the Spurs have is that they've got nobody who can create one-on-one that Kobe has to worry about. All his fouls have been either on the offensive end, forcing things, or trying to come and make impossible defensive plays.
To Jim Clemens, do you leave Kobe Bryant in there, guys? He takes the shot and missed it. He's got 4 fouls. There's a long ways to go in this game.
Well, he's missed their last 7 shots.
Well, I think you have to wait. You have to wait and see. If you can get within 3 or 4 points, you take him out and rest him. But you can't risk taking him out right now and going down 16. You've already came back from 16 once. You might not be able to do it again. So I think at this point you gotta leave it up to Kobe, smart guy, and say you can't be foolish out there.
How about a talk with him that asks him to please bring a little bit more discipline to his game?
Now? You have that talk with him right now during the game?
Yeah. Say, quit getting offensive fouls. Quit trying to gamble defensively. Just play basketball and keep it within the system of the offense.
That might be better safe for the offseason.
At the free throw line, he gets them both. That's only his 4th point since the first quarter. 54-46, down to 8 again.
It's like I'll sit down and have a talk with you during the offseason.
That could take days. Duncan against O'Neal. Samaki Walker comes over to help out, and Duncan buries it anyway. 20 for Duncan.
That is a shot. I mean, you come to a complete stop with nothing to do and still deliver the jump hook perfectly.
Second time today the Lakers have gone over 4 minutes without a field goal. They had one in the first half. They've got one now. O'Neal, 15 for Shaq.
Well, the last couple of times they gave it to him on the right block about 15 feet away. This time, nice move by Parker. We talked about
had
that
a heck
earlier.
of a quarter, hasn't he?
We talked about it earlier. I mean, he didn't make a lot of shots in the first half, but he took 10 of them. And that's the aggressiveness that Coach Popovich wants to see from him. And now he's carrying it over into the second half and completing the plays.
Remember the first couple of games against Phoenix in round 1, Stephon Marbury owned Parker. He played terribly. Hadn't played that well in this series either, but today he's helping the cause. O'Neal, another hook that goes, and a chance for a 3-point play for Shaq. We'll take a look at the free throw when we come back. 5:14 remaining in the third quarter. Tim Duncan leads the way with 20 for San Antonio. But now Shaq is trying to take over for the Lakers. 17 for the big guy. It's 58-50. And you're watching the NBA on ABC Sports Championship Television.
The Spurs,
Shaquille O'Neal with a free throw upcoming.
The Spurs have found their way back to playing well now that Duncan is in the game. But the Lakers are coming, and they're just relentlessly wearing down San Antonio. Foul trouble. They're going to be a major factor. The biggest concern for Los Angeles here is whether Shaq will touch the ball enough in the next 17 minutes to continue their season.
There is 5 left, third quarter. Duncan at the free throw line with 9 on the shot clock. Sabaki Walker trying to guard him. That didn't work either.
My goodness, he was inside of his jersey that time.
That was Michael Jordan. That was Kobe Bryant. That was Hakeem Olajuwon.
No, that was Tim Duncan.
No. That was such a tough shot there.
Kobe Bryant hasn't had a field goal since a minute into the second quarter, and he kind of talked that one in.
He'll keep coming. He's not going to slow down, and he'll have a brilliant close to this game.
18 for Kobe Bryant. 18 for Shaquille O'Neal. Tony Parker, he's had a big quarter. He misses the outside jumper, and Walker clears the glass. It's a 7-point game.
The setup half-court game favors the Lakers. The Spurs not as good at it, and they're in foul trouble.
Duncan came out on Kobe Bryant, then left him alone, but Kobe missed the open 3.
Did you see Bruce Bowen's face?
Yeah.
Oh, good stay. Help me out. Stay out there until I get out there. I'm still surprised they don't run some more pick and rolls with Malik Rose. You got a guy that can shoot, and Shaq,
what a rebound.
Rose does it himself. His first points.
Well, if you have a big guy that can shoot the 15-foot jump shot, Malik Rose can do that. Get Shaq on the move. Make him come out and guard you.
Now Bowen with some backcourt pressure on Kobe Bryant. All the way in the lane, hangs and delivers.
Even to be careful, he can run someone over and pick up that 5th foul.
He survived down to the 3.5-minute mark of this quarter without picking up another one, and now he's got 20 points.
Well, Bowen's spending all his time looking at the refs instead of playing ball like he did in game 2.
Jackson slips, and Duncan ends up with it with Walker on it. Last time he scored right over Walker's defense. This time he draws the foul instead.
Great players get to the line.
Well, we talk about guys and setting pick and rolls, and here's Malik Rose right here, and here is Shaq, and watch what happens when he comes over and sets the pick and roll. Shaq's not going to guard him. Jackson is sucked back into the defensive zone. Easy pickup for Malik Rose, and if they wanted to, Steven Jackson could have kicked it right back to him for an easy jump shot.
You might want to think about giving the ball up to a teammate who's wide open after you've been double-teamed coming off the screen. Would you think?
Nah.
Tim Duncan 7 out of 9 from the free throw line as Ginobili checks in. Duncan leads everybody with 21, now 22 points. NBA.com has compiled the 10 greatest shots in NBA playoff history. Log on, cast your vote, pick the best shot only on NBA.com. Here's Fisher. Kobe Bryant got around Bowen. Going to go up and came down with a foul. Still San Antonio in front. 4 fouls on Duncan. 64-55 Spurs. James Woods doing some serious listening in on the Spurs huddle. Andy Garcia with a little Laker. Jack's kept his cool so far through the game. Penny Marshall, David Hasselhoff, Knight Rider, Baywatch, whatever. And it is 64-55. Our Miller Lite storyline looks like this. Spurs with some foul trouble. Both Duncan and Robinson have 4. Lakers, Bryant and O'Neal, 38 points between them, but only 17 from everybody else. Check in with David Aldridge, DA.
Guys, in that last timeout, Kobe Bryant got some eye drop from Gary Vitti, the team trainer. A little bit of blurred vision there. Also, Jim Clements telling his team and during that timeout, guys, this game is going to turn right now. Our defensive intensity is going to turn this thing around, guys.
About 15 minutes to play, 3 left in the quarter as Kobe goes to the free throw line, courtesy of that 4th Duncan foul.
And Greg Popovich comes out of the timeout with both Duncan and Robinson on the bench. Willis and Malik Rose have all the responsibility for Shaq right now. But also, the Spurs perimeter players, they have to try to keep Kobe from just coming right down the lane. But that just is an open door policy right now, and Kobe's getting to the line relentlessly.
Kobe now has 22 points to lead the Lakers.
Interesting philosophies, or different philosophies
Willis couldn't handle Jackson's pass. Everybody goes down, and here goes Kobe. Look out! I'd say the crowd is back into it.
What an absolutely horrendous possession for San Antonio.
Jackson now settles for a three, and that one's off the mark. Oh, Ginobili with the offensive rebound.
And just an unbelievable hustle play right here. Get the floor burns. Love floor. Hey, got a guy open. Might get it that. That guy can fly. Look at this thing. Whee!
That's high percentage.
My goodness, that's just what I want to do while I'm up here. What I was saying is different philosophies. Both teams' superstars get 4 fouls. Jim Clemens leads Kobe Bryant in. Greg Popovich takes Tim Duncan out. And I think the reason being, you have the lead, so you take him out. You're behind, so you have to keep your guy in.
He's also got the home court advantage. He's a 3-time defending world champion Los Angeles Lakers.
6-point game, 2:05 in the third quarter. Brad Nessler, Bill Walton, Tom Tolbert, Michelle Tafoya, David Aldridge, and Mike Tirico, all with you from Los Angeles. This is Game 4, Western Conference semifinals.
And if Kobe did happen to foul out,
Devin George got a three.
they can always throw it to Shaq. Where do they go, the Spurs, wazed Tim Duncan?
Leads down to 3 now. Jackson swatted out there by Walker. Lakers with a chance to cut it to 1. And a whistle and a foul en route.
Way out on the perimeter. Not the play at the basket. They're calling this on Ginobili.
Devin George, surprising that he was able to play on Friday. He was huge early in that game. He hits the big 3 here, and then Kobe driving down. He'll go back to the free throw line.
Spurs defense is playing like they did in Game 3, where they're just reactive. They're falling down, reaching and grabbing, expecting the referees to give them something, expecting the Lakers to just stop playing. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You got to take it from the world champions.
Well, they've lost the reinforcements. I mean, they've lost the back line of their defense. Their shot blockers, their intimidators. Tim Duncan, David Robson. You look at Rose and Kevin Willis, and they're physical guys, but they don't intimidate you. They don't keep you from laying the ball up at the rim.
25 points for Kobe Bryant, make it 26. The lead once was 16 in the first half. It's down to 1. Lakers on a 9-1 run against San Antonio in the final minute and a half of the third quarter. Ginobili.
Kobe has no idea that he's playing with 4 fouls.
Maybe that's just as well, huh? The Lakers haven't led since there was 2 minutes left in the first quarter. With a minute to go in the third, they've got the opportunity. Fisher puts them in front.
Greg Popovich would really like this quarter to end.
Jackson through some traffic. O'Neal blocked the shot. Out of bounds to the Lakers. Sort of that feeling when you have a nightmare. You can't wait to wake up. You're right. The last 45 seconds is going to be a nightmare for Popovich.
Well, it happened in the first half, happened here in the second half. Tim Duncan goes to the bench. They lose it. They lose it offensively. They lose it defensively. And the clock can't tick fast enough right now for the guys in black and silver.
Fisher working against Parker. He hit the last shot. This time he'll go to the free throw line.
Ooh.
The MVP can only look on with 4 fouls.
You look right there with him on the floor and without him on the floor. And that's what MVPs are made of. You're plus 13 with him, minus 13 without him. And I'd take a wild guess and say he'll be starting the fourth and playing until he fouls out.
The Lakers have made this great run without Shaq being involved instead on the defensive end.
Shaq gets a breather here in the final half minute of the third. Derek Fisher, who was basically non-existent offensively in the first quarter, but had 6 big points in the second, 5 more here in the third. He's the guy that gave him the lead. He's now given him a 2-point lead. Got them both. Lakers have a foul to give here in the final half minute.
Why would they foul? The Spurs offense has completely disappeared.
Ginobili out there with Jackson, Willis, Rose, and Parker. Shaw almost stole it. Scramble for the ball right in front of us. It's out of bounds to San Antonio with 7 seconds on the shot clock.
The Lakers are quicker to every single ball. They're the guys who are going to the floor. Derek Fisher, Devin George, Brian Shaw. And the Spurs can't even dribble anymore.
Look at Fisher come flying in here. And this guy's a little bulldog. He'll get after it. He's not afraid to get some wood burns on the legs and on the arms. You gotta love the way he plays.
Jackson got away from Kareem Rush on the inbound play and takes it all the way to the rack. Willis with a follow.
And what do you know? Shaq's not in there. They get an offensive rebound layup.
Lakers lead by 1. Final seconds of the third quarter. Rush will have to hurry. Shaw.
Oh, and it goes in! Off the glass for 3! They'll take a look at this and make sure, but Shaw somehow threw it up there off the window and it went in.
Dennis Salvatore's at the scorer's table. We're going to make sure. Here's another look.
Has anyone hit more desperation threes when the Lakers season always seems to be on the line?
Boy,
that's very close.
Couldn't get any closer than that, could it?
Well, it looked like he got off just ahead of the light going off.
They're going to have to look at this a lot of times from a different angles.
We'll look at it one more time. End of the third quarter. Lakers leading after being down badly in the first half. This is ABC Sports presentation of the NBA on ABC. We'll continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Dennis Salvatore, our lead official today, was the guy that called the shot by Brian Shaw to end the third quarter good on the court. And he indeed was right. As we showed you several times, that shot from different angles couldn't have been much closer, but he went to the scorer's table to make sure.
Keep a little more, frame by frame. Keep going. One more, that's it. Thank you very much. The basket's good.
As he called it, frame by frame. You can't get it any tighter than this, Bill.
Truly amazing how close this is. The ball just out of his hand as the red light comes on. That's a good basket there. And Brian Shaw has given this crowd such a boost.
Unbelievable finish to the third quarter for the Lakers, much like the second quarter was. Remember, they finished the half on a 12-3 run. They just finished the third quarter on a 16-3 march, and now they lead by 4 as we enter the fourth quarter.
Lakers closing quarters. That should say Lakers productivity when Tim Duncan's on the bench in foul trouble.
He's back in there now. Duncan, the leading scorer with 24 for San Antonio. Ginobili. Foul by Shaw.
We have seen Brian Shaw rescue the Lakers so many times. No more so than the first Laker championship when they were down to Portland. 16 points in the 7th game here at Staples.
Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya as Ginobili goes to the free throw line. Michelle.
Greg Popovich telling him in that huddle, don't even think about what's going on right now. Don't think so much. Just keep things moving on offense. It starts with our motion, and I can't stress it enough, he told them. You perimeter guys must help us rebound.
Ginobili hits both free throws and makes it a 2-point ball game.
Well, now with the Lakers being ahead, Jim Clemens has a chance to rest Kobe Bryant with 4 fouls. But rest assured, if the Spurs come back and take the lead, you'll see Kobe getting back up and checking himself back in.
Fisher Goes up over Parker, and he got another. How big has Derek Fisher been in the second and third, and now the early stages of the fourth quarter?
Fisher's not getting the looks in this series, and the Spurs have made the commitment to stay at home against him. He is out of character taking his own shots.
Duncan with Samaki Walker on it. And off the glass.
Can't do anything. That is just flawless execution with a brilliant theory. Fake one way, go the other, get in the air, using every move imaginable. A la Larry Bird, Kevin McHale.
Shaquille O'Neal with David Robinson with 4 fouls guarding him. Shaq backing in. Didn't get the shot. Robinson got the rebound.
Shaq has not gone to the hoop in this second half. Very surprising, because it was his play in the second quarter that got the Spurs in desperate foul trouble.
See what Duncan does with it this time. Kicks it out to Parker, who brings it right back to him. And a foul on Walker.
I was going to say, they've got to call that one.
Well, when you look at Tim Duncan, you don't see a guy, certainly when you go up against Shaq, everybody looks a little bit thinner. He's pretty wide. I mean, he has a wide body down there, and just a nice spin, drop step, drive it baseline, and then right here, Samaki Walker just bang, bang. And then, of course, after he banged him, he stuck the arm straight up. Like I said, that's a sure sign of a foul when you have your hands straight up. What'd I do? You fouled him. That's what you do.
Tim Duncan has done a great job from the free throw line today as well, which is kind of a soft spot in his game a little bit, but he's hitting them all right now, and he's got 28 points, and we are tied up at 73 with 10:20 remaining in the ballgame.
Shaq, 12 free throw attempts in the first half, only 1 in the second.
He's going to get a couple here.
That's 5 on Robinson.
Yep.
This has been a tough afternoon, heck, a tough series for David Robinson.
David Robinson will be retiring at the end of the season, whenever that may be. This is game 4. With San Antonio up 2-1. Lakers trying to even it up. And Shaq kind of talked that free throw in. We got more hoops for you Thursday. Either this matchup, Spurs and Lakers, if there's a game 6. Otherwise, Sacramento and the Mavs. We'll be in Sacramento for the Mavs and the Kings if they have a game 6. Thursday night, one way or another, live at 8 Eastern right here on ABC Sports. Home of the NBA Finals. Shaq got them both. 20 for O'Neal.
The crowd is lathered up. The Lakers, their responsibility is to get Shaq sweating and just knocking guys around like bowling pins.
So they need to get lathered to get him lathered, is what you're saying.
They are just wasting the game's greatest dominant force in the paint.
Duncan has taken Walker to work on a couple of occasions here, spinning off and drawing another foul.
Malik Rose wants a bucket.
Of course you do. The great thing is with the Lakers, when they do eventually get whistled for a foul, then they turn and they say, what? That couldn't be a foul on us.
That's everybody. But you see what the Spurs are doing. They need buckets. They're going to go through Tim Duncan. They need buckets. They're going to go through Tim Duncan. The Lakers now establishing Shaq down in the low box. And, you know, Malik Rose now in the game. Let's be honest. David Robinson has no chance of guarding Shaq. David Robinson is a small forward, built like a small forward. He can't guard this guy.
Only because David Robinson doesn't have the body and the leg strength anymore. David Robinson used to have tremendous success against Shaq.
Duncan's free throws, his 29th and 30th points of the ball game. 75 apiece with 9.5 to go. Malik Rose trying to be Shaquille O'Neal's shadow, picks up his 3rd foul.
Mark Madsen, a sighting. He played very well in the first half, and Jim Clements went away from him.
There he is, the human can of Red Bull.
Mad Dog is in there.
Good defense by the Spurs on the baseline out of bounds, denying lob. And the lob to Shaq.
This year, that's one of the better looks he's gotten, but he missed it, and Duncan with a rebound. Spurs have had only 2 field goals in the last 6.5 minutes, but they are dead even with the champion Lakers at 75.
They're no longer running. The Spurs are pushed back under their defensive hoop.
So Madsen stay with Duncan. Did a pretty good job.
Crowds. He did the same thing to Kevin Garnett. Big guys don't like to be crowded.
Hansen going to take the shot. And Duncan the rebound.
On the run if you're San Antonio. Don't stand and play half-court basketball. Not your strength.
Ginobili gave up a three and almost threw it away. Now Malik Rose on the baseline. That was halfway in, and it came out to Shaw. 8.5 to go. Tied at 75.
Ginobili's struggling mightily. And he is too good a player. Brandon, it's his first year in the playoff.
Shaw.
Oh, please. That has to be an offensive.
Shaquille picks up his second. With 8:22 remaining in regulation. Lakers and the Spurs. As O'Neal picks up his second foul. Up over. Knocks down a few blocks. 8:22 remaining. Since that time, they have gotten stops. In fact, 20-11 has been the Laker run as they have scrambled for a lot of loose balls. The defense leading the way with block shots, forcing some turnovers, stopping San Antonio offensively.
Well, I think that also coincided with Duncan's fourth foul, and they had no idea where they were going with the basketball. No continuity offensively. And sure, you know, it's great. You turn up the defensive intensity, but then Duncan gets his fourth in a combination, hits you for a 20-11 run.
But the Lakers have outworked the Spurs here, and they're out-thinking them right now, and they've got Kobe Bryant fresh, ready, and salivating just to get his hands on that ball right now.
Parker and Duncan. Duncan a double team. Parker with that speed, getting in the middle, got up in the air. Kobe Bryant got a piece of the shot. Spurs wanted a foul and didn't get it. Here's Kobe Bryant feeding the big man underneath. And he's fouled.
Such position, such movement by Shaq. The beautiful thing about the Laker triangle offense is when Shaq gets it going, when the first pass has been swung from one side of the court up top or from up top down to the baseline, and Shaq's already on the move, and the coaching staff ecstatic with the system at work.
Shaq with the first free throw coming up. Going to check in with D.A. after that shot, and he hit it. David?
You know, Kobe actually wanted to come in before the last timeout. He started to check himself in, and Jim Clemens stopped him and said, well, wait till the next timeout. Kobe kind of wasn't thrilled about that. Jim Clemens in the last timeout just told his guys, be patient. Offensively, we'll make plays, guys.
Shaquille O'Neal has hit his last 6 free throws. He has 22 points.
Shaq is uncharacteristically not shooting well from the floor today. 5 for 16.
Neither team's had a field goal in over 3 minutes here. And tough catch by Parker. Whistle and the foul is underneath.
I bet you it's on Mark Madsen.
It is.
Either Mark or battling. Either Mark or Kurt Rambis.
Well, you can see that one coming. And Tim Duncan was trying to establish position down in the low block, and he was just fighting him, much like Kurt Rambis used to do. He would fight you as well as anybody as well.
Duncan going back to the free throw line where he's hit his last 6.
I like the fact that David Robinson's coming in right now.
Tim Duncan's got it working from the free throw line.
Robinson's got 5 fouls, but this game is going to be about momentum down the stretch. With Robinson not giving you much, might as well just try to have something happen right now, because Malik Rose can still come back, as can Kevin Willis.
We've got a field goal drop going, folks. The Lakers have had 3 of them of almost 4 minutes today.
It just matches the weather, and what a beautiful day it is.
How about the big fellas today? Duncan 14 for 16 from the line. Shaq 12 for 17 from the line.
Kobe Bryant threw it around everyone, hung in the air. Shaq trying to throw it over Robinson. Robinson with a foul, and he is not happy. And he's gone. On the offensive glass.
Championship teams get down the lane. No stopping them. Bowen has not been there. Parker continues to reach. Shaq with the inside position.
You see the reaction of David Robinson, who fouls out with 7:13 remaining.
Let me clean my glasses.
That's the second time at least you've had to do that today.
You want me to help you?
At least is the appropriate word.
And O'Neal with the free throw.
A frustrating day for David Robinson. One of the game's greats.
No points and only 3 boards and 6 fouls with 7:13 remaining as Shaquille O'Neal continues to hit the free throws.
They're calling a lane violation. Shaq crossing the line before the ball hits the rim.
23 for Shaq today. No field goals so far in the fourth quarter for him.
That's because Shaq knew it was going to hit the rim. That's why he was headed after it.
Lakers with a 1-point lead.
Got very little out of screen and roll for San Antonio.
Madsen with another foul.
You can't do that. You can't put your arm on the guy's lower back and then push and leverage yourself into it. You can stand there behind him and rest your lower arm on his back, but you can't push into him. You can't do that.
Jack Nicholson is leaning.
And watch right there. Look at, I mean, you just can't. You can't push and push. And that's what's going to get you called right there. And especially if you're Mark Madsen against Tim Duncan.
Duncan misses a free throw. He hadn't missed one in this quarter.
Jack Nicholson is up behind referee Jack Neese.
So Jack and Jack.
Knowing the desperate situation that the Lakers face.
Duncan to try to tie it. Does. Even at 78. Down to 7 minutes in the ball game. The last field goal was over 4 minutes ago. That's by either team. Kobe Bryant trying to rebound his own miss. Almost fouled Duncan, and now here comes Ginobili.
Bowen just got leveled, and he's looking around saying, what does it take? You guys to acknowledge my existence.
Will acknowledge his 3. Bowen, only his second field goal, and it's a big one.
Nice job hiding behind Willis there. He snuck behind him.
Bowen has got to do a better job of trying to keep Kobe out of the lane.
1 field goal for the Lakers in the quarter. Devin George. There's a big 3. His 3rd of the game. Tied at 81, and we approach 6 minutes remaining.
Lakers best in the league at moments like this. The biggest of games are at their finest.
They went over 5 minutes without a field goal, and Devin George hit a big one, but Ginobili's got the answer for him.
Now it's Tim Duncan's time. Now Tim Duncan has to pull everybody together and say, guys, we're going to finish him off, push him over the edge in this last 550.
Come on, how about a 53?
Offensive foul
on Devin George. He wanted the foul called on Ginobili before that, and in frustration backed in a little bit too hard. He picks up the foul instead. 5 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the ball game. Spurs leading by 3. This is ABC Sports, the new home of the NBA Finals.
It's a dug-in defense. Jimmy Clemens coming back with Robert Horry, who has not had his finest hour.
Well, it's not going to be what Horry does in the offensive end now, but what he does on the defensive end.
Ginobili trying to swing through and around Shaquille O'Neal, and it's out of bounds to the Lakers.
Ginobili asked the referee, are you seeing the same game I'm seeing? Apparently not.
Here's some backcourt pressure again from San Antonio. Just the kind of pressure, as Tom said, that makes you use a little more clock. That's about it. Kobe Bryant against Duncan. Up and over him.
So Bruce Bowen got lost a little bit on that screen. Tim Duncan had to pick him up. And Kobe knew that if he got a 1 quick step on him, he could elevate and shoot over before Tim left the ground.
Lakers are overplaying in the passing lanes. Big man step up and backdoor somebody.
San Antonio by 1. Parker over Fisher. In and out. Robert Horry almost lost it to Kevin Willis. Oh, that hurts. Willis, in trying to get that loose ball, almost rolled up on the back of Shaquille O'Neal's legs.
Spurs are getting nothing on the offensive glass. It's 1 and out. Perfect position every single time. Some quick hands by Kevin Willis.
Well, that could have been disastrous to the lower legs of the big fella there. But Willis just lost his balance and picks up the foul. And Shaq goes back to the free throw line.
Well, being that it was
his
Shaq,
last 6.
Being that it was Shaq, I was more worried about Willis's shoulder.
Everybody has had to guard Shaquille O'Neal at times today, as you would probably imagine. And everybody's picked up some fouls in there, including Robinson, who's gone.
Tim Duncan does the best job of anybody in the NBA of guarding Shaquille O'Neal one-on-one, if you can say that in a team game. But the Lakers have helped Tim Duncan today by not going to Shaq. He's had to get everything by himself on the offensive glass.
He's only 5 of 16 from the floor, but he hit those 2 free throws and put his team back in front. 4:35 to play. Willis over O'Neal.
We have seen nothing but jump hooks from all the big men today. The jump hook invented in Los Angeles in the summer of 1955. Billy McGill.
There's another hook. Shaq's first field goal in a while.
Shaq looking into the stands and nodding, getting approval.
27 for the big guy. Kobe Bryant has 28.
Oh, nice.
Bowen, he hit the last one from there. He hit another one from there.
He's pretty good from beyond the arc. You might want to rotate to him. He's one of those guys that he's not going to create a lot and shoot threes, but if he can get him off spot up, he can make those shots.
He's a horrible free throw shooter, and he's a great three-point shooter.
Well, where's the creativity going to come from to get him wide open?
Fisher, he'll try a triple. Got it! Lakers by 1.
Got to be Tim Duncan early in the shot clock so he can be a passer.
Here is Tim Duncan, 8 on the shot clock. Horry on his hit. Duncan to the paint. Came up short. Rebound, Kobe Bryant. Now Kobe slows down and waits for Horry to join the group. Against Bowen all the way with a left hand.
Incredible execution of the triple post offense. Down the lane, slicing, extending.
His penetration's been the key in this fourth quarter. He has gotten in the middle whenever he has wanted to. He has created shots for himself and wide open looks for his teammates.
Yet another 30-point plus playoff game for Kobe Bryant, 31.
It was when he picked up his 4th foul that he came alive. Kobe Bryant leading the NBA playoffs in scoring.
And with 3:06 leading the Lakers right now. They are up by 4. Everybody up at Staples Center. Jim Clemens, acting head coach in Phil Jackson's stead. Coach Jackson home watching the game after emergency surgery yesterday. Out of the hospital, home, and I'm sure there's some high anxiety in his house. Shaquille O'Neal as Tim Duncan went up. Picks up the foul.
We question the flawless execution capabilities of the Spurs. They bobbled that ball literally everyone who touched it.
Look at Shaq right there. Hey, if I would have told you that Shaq was 6 for 17 from the line and 15 for 21 from the field, you'd say, well, that's pretty normal. He's been the opposite today. 6 for 17 from the field, 15 to 21 from the line.
And Duncan, who's been brilliant from the line, has missed 2 of his last 3. Stay tuned for ABC World News tonight, Sunday, or your local news when we're finished here. It might be a while. Duncan got the second of 2.
This game's just getting started.
With 2:50 remaining. 93-90. Lakers trying to even the best of 7 at 2 games apiece. Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. O'Neal getting low on Rose. And kicks it back out to Fisher. Now Bryant with, and he had it stripped. Shot clock.
You cannot do that.
And the rebound will be San Antonio's.
You have to call that a traveling violation.
Kobe knew it, too. He was trying to give it to Fisher, then he's got it himself.
Poetic justice, then, maybe, that the Spurs get it back. And Duncan, blocked by Horry, got it back and scored.
Never bringing the ball down. So difficult to read a player like Tim Duncan, like a Kevin McHale.
Tim Duncan, the MVP, showing why. 36 points for Duncan. We're under 2 minutes. Horry, big three. O'Neal trying to get the rebound over the back of Rose, and it comes to Tony Parker.
Greg Popovich is saying, what is an over-the-back foul?
They're different. 3 minutes and post 2 minutes.
Lakers by 1. Tim Duncan faces Robert Horry. The kick out to Jackson for 3. Oh, what a big shot.
Clock management for the Lakers. All the pressure on Jim Clemens.
15 for Jackson, and the Spurs are in front. 95-93. 2-point game, 1:20 to go. Kobe Bryant trying to push off Bo and feed Shaq. And Shaquille is fouled.
Magnificent pick and roll. They're calling this a pass.
You see right there, just stick with it. Robert Horry does a nice job of deflecting the ball as he goes up. And then the pass out right there to Steven Jackson. Tee it up for 3.
Shaquille O'Neal at the free throw line. Shaq's hit about 9 straight from the stripe. He's got an opportunity to tie this game up. Got it.
Well, this used to be prime Hackensack area, and not anymore, because Shaq has improved his free throw shooting as the years have gone by. I don't have stats on this, but I would say he does his best work in the 4th quarter.
He's had his best season from the line. He can tie this game from the line. Does.
Touch me up, Shaq. Who would have ever thought that it would be Tim Duncan clanking him off from the free throw line while Shaq rolling him around and in.
Just over a minute in regulation, tied at 95.
Shaq is guarding Duncan. They've got to go right at him.
Duncan gives it back to Jackson, and the Spurs turn it over. Under a minute.
If you get the ball to Shaq, everybody's got to make sure they move.
Kobe Bryant. And he goes down hard as he goes to the rack. And he's fouled.
The Spurs are settling for perimeter plays, and the Lakers are going to the rack and getting to the line.
Bowen and Rose double teaming Kobe Bryant. It was Willie Rose who was called for the foul, and not Kobe Bryant at the free throw line.
Well, he has been ultra aggressive this half. Ultra aggressive the last 2 games.
Whoa. And he missed one. He hadn't missed since the first free throw he took.
But how many times have we seen the guys who are the most aggressive never get the foul? I mean, Charles Barkley was that way. Moses Malone, Bird, Jordan, Shaq. Shaq only had, what, 2 fouls that have been called?
Kobe Bryant second to 2. There's a hush over the crowd here, trying to break a 95-95 tie, and he does. 7th lead change in the last 4.5 minutes. Here we go. 40 seconds will be left when Parker crosses midcourt. Lakers lead by 1. Horry comes out to pick up Parker.
Well, we got Shaq on Duncan, too, so watch him trying to go around and get to the hole.
Duncan lost the handle, has to go to the floor. Jackson with 5 on the shot clock. Up and over, Laker ball.
And they waited so long, they got a foul. They got a foul immediately.
Right away.
Horry will inbound.
Tremendous inbound passer, Robert Horry.
Looking for Kobe Bryant. Got it to Derek Fisher. And they don't call a foul, and Horry brings it.
They're trying to foul. They're wasting time. They got to get to the ball, the Spurs.
They missed Kobe Bryant, and finally Jackson got him. Bowen tried to get him and just flat did a matador job, missed him.
Gave away 10 seconds. 10 seconds they gave away.
Fisher looked like he got fouled as soon as he got the ball, but there wasn't one called. They ran 10 seconds off the clock there, and we're down to 14.2 left.
If Kobe had just swung that ball one more time, I don't know if the Spurs ever could have got back in it.
Kobe Bryant has 32 points. He has missed 2 free throws all day. 11 of 13 for Kobe from the stripe. There's his numbers on the day. Got the first.
And you just got to get this foul immediately right there.
You got to grab him. You can't just count on the referee making that call.
10 seconds they wasted. When you're down, you're trying to lengthen the game. They just cut it in half in one possession.
Kobe Bryant trying to give the Lakers a 3-point lead with 14 seconds left. And he does. 14 more made free throws for the Lakers than the Spurs with 14.2 left. And it's Los Angeles 98, San Antonio 95.
Get the ball to Duncan early, have him drive, and then kick it out to somebody.
Jim Clemens, the acting head coach, looking on. The Lakers are 14 seconds away from evening this best-of-7 Western Conference semifinals at 2 apiece after San Antonio took the first 2 on their home court. Lakers won Friday. Are they going to win again? Parker intercepted by Kobe Bryant. Parker has to come back and foul it. And the play of the game comes on defense, not on offense.
Spurs couldn't even get the ball in bounds. What a monumental collapse.
That's pathetic.
What are they thinking? Nobody coming to the ball. Got the Lakers with all the momentum in the world. That wasn't even close. They might want to check him for color blindness.
Kobe Bryant back to the free throw line. That's a 4-point Laker lead.
Nothing quite as anticlimactic as waiting for a big shot to see if somebody can tie a game, and they throw away the inbound pass.
Kobe Bryant can put the Lakers at 100. In and out. And timeout.
Spurs had only 2 turnovers this entire quarter, but both of them came with under 3 minutes to play.
Kobe Bryant did miss a free throw, but he hit an important one to start those 2 and has put his team up by 4, 99-95. In the first half, they lead by 4 with 11 seconds left.
Well, they've really turned up the offense. 39 points in the first half, 60 here in the second half. And I think a lot of that you got to attribute to Kobe Bryant and his aggressiveness in getting everybody going in the game. He has been fantabulous in the second half.
If you're the Spurs, just get the ball in bounds and then drive it to the hoop.
I'd give him a point if they just got it down there.
They do into Tim Duncan. Duncan will take a 3. And it's in and out. Tips. Who's going to get a loose ball? Derek Fisher is.
Ball game.
Jump ball. They're calling a jump ball.
They are. Ginobili and Fisher. Fisher can only smile. First quarter, Derek didn't even attempt many shots, but he has come on and really played well for the Lakers today.
And not only hitting the jumpers, which he was creating for himself, diving for the loose balls. This guy is the best in the league at being on that floor and digging them out, Derek Fisher.
He has been on the floor a lot in this ball game. And now he'll jump center with 4.9 seconds.
The Spurs look confused on the jump ball. They look like they've already lost this one.
Oh, you can't. Fisher got his hand on it. Said, what am I supposed to do?
Well.
Good catch, though.
He got up there and didn't know what to do.
Two-handed chest pass off the jump ball.
So the Spurs will inbound down 4.9 left.
Nice toss.
And timeout taken by San Antonio. With 4.9 left. Greg Popovich, his team great during the regular season. He won the Coach of the Year honor. Tim Duncan, 2-time MVP, winning that award.
Greg Popovich, you'd like to see a 1 right there.
Boy.
14.9 seconds.
You're not
they wasted 10 seconds. And right now, instead of having 15 seconds, they got 5.
They still can't get it in.
And they still don't get it in. Kobe Bryant, courtesy of Shaquille O'Neal with another steal. The Lakers have evened it at 2 games apiece. Two wins in San Antonio. Now back-to-back wins as the Lakers hold their home court. First time the Spurs have lost back-to-back games since the last 2 days of December. And Jim Clemens, the acting head coach in Phil Jackson's stead today. What a big win for him.
Spurs had a chance, but have a lot of work to do. You can start with inbounding the ball. You start with confidence down the end of the stretch. Lakers, what a phenomenal comeback because they appeared to be buried.
David Aldridge is with Shaquille O'Neal.
Guys, Kobe, Shaq, looked like for 3 quarters it wasn't quite there, and in the 4th quarter you guys seemed to will your way, get to the basket whenever you had to.
Yeah, well, you know, in the 4th quarter, that's when things open up for us. It's so important to keep everybody involved. This way everybody's a threat coming down the stretch, and it opens up a lot of lanes for myself and Shaquille.
Shaq, you patrolled the paint all day, but especially in the 4th quarter, they didn't seem to get much of all inside.
Well, I just, wanted to, get the ball, just go for what I know. We know that guys like, Jamobi's going to get the ball, go to the hole. So I just wanted to be there for my teammates, just try to block a few shots.
Shaq, this was such an emotional game for you guys. How much did you take from Phil not being here, and how inspirational was that?
Well, we looked kind of, razzled there in the 1st quarter. We made a lot of silly mistakes, and those Spurs, they shot the ball very well. But we're a team that we like to fight, and we play better when we have to fight anyway.
Is this a more important game in terms of getting even for you, or do you think you just held serve at home?
We just did what we were supposed to do, take care of our home court advantage. Now we just need to go over there and get one.
You think you have them rattled now?
Excuse me?
You think you have San Antonio rattled now?
We just need to go out, play hard, do the right thing, and stick to our script. And if we do that, then we should be fine.
Anything you want to say to Phil?
Stay home, get some rest.
Thanks very much, Shaq. Back to you.
Well, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant scored 20 of the Lakers' 28 4th quarter points. And it's a happy day for the Lakers and their fans today as they win it 99-95. Phil Jackson, I'm sure there was some high anxiety in his home today, but his team survived without him today. The reason being Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Didn't matter who the Spurs put on the big fella, he found a way over or around him. And Kobe Bryant, the defense turned up the heat for the Lakers. That's what helped carry them to the victory. And then at the end, it was defense again that won the ball game. Kobe Bryant, the steal on the inbounds pass, took him to the free throw line, took the Lakers to a win 99-95. We'll be back in a moment.